Then finally has this question. When Bret Contreras was on your program recently, he advocating varying the sequences for each month over a 5-month cycle. Thoughts? Well, yeah, actually, so let's finish up on the topic. Bret says you vary things over, according to you, a 5-month cycle. I don't remember that as well as I should, I guess. But for me, I like most people to go for at least 2 weeks before you do no exercise variation at all. In my career, I was able to handle it for up to 6 and 7 years of just doing the same basic things over and over and over again. I like variation. There's 3 kinds of variation. There's wild, there's mild, and there's no. No variation, if you find 5 perfect exercises for you. Okay, and for me, I'll tell you mine, okay? So half kneeling press. Okay, this is not the snatch and clean and jerk or the Olympic lifts and suitcase carries. When I work with my discus throwers now, it's Olympic snatch, Olympic clean and jerk, suitcase carry. Okay, we'll throw that to the side. But my ideal workout right now, and I might change this in an hour. Half kneeling presses, hangs, hip thrust, or other solid hinge variation, goblet squat, overhead squat, and especially if you do that style where we go back and forth. Generally, most of the time, my front squat in our training, and then a loaded carry. Almost universally now, I recommend suitcase carries because of the extra core building, if you want to use that phrase. But certainly the farmer walk. So no variation would mean that you just did those until you woke up one morning and you couldn't wake up because you were no longer with us. John McKeon, who died not long ago, just this last summer, he also recommended no weight variations. He was a all-around lifter. It's an organization. They have, I want to say, over about 1,000 different exercises that they do in competition. If you're training for one of those, like they have one that's the middle finger deadlift, you just deadlift with your middle fingers, or these 2 fingers, or a thumb grip, or curl grip, and they've got all the curls. They got everything. They do everything. If you're doing that kind of thing, I can see why no variation in load would make sense. You practice, and then on competition day, you make your lifts. So you could do a program, and it'd probably work really well with kettlebells, where you took the 20-kilo bell and you did half kneeling presses, hang, the hip thrust, of course, with bands probably, the goblet squat with that bell and a stick, and then suitcase carry. No variation. I'm not saying it's perfect, no, but it's not bad. Mild variation is what most of us do. Mild variation is you go from bench press to incline press to decline press to military press. Maybe do each of those 6 weeks. You go from goblet squat for 4 weeks, front squat 4 weeks, overhead squat for 4 weeks. I'm just making this up. Back squat 4 weeks. That's mild. I mean, you're squatting. And then there's wild variation, which I'm not even sure what it means anymore. I know I've done it in my career. When you're going from playing, for me, American football in the fall, and then all of a sudden, coach walks up to you on the last day of football practice and says, as soon as you finish the game on Thursday, I want you in wrestling, I'll give you Saturday and Sunday off, and then I'll see you Monday in the wrestling room. And that's kind of wild variation. And then you go from wrestling to, in my case, throwing the discus and doing the hurdles. That's pretty wild. Gosh, in the weight room, you could do, well, Marty Gallagher talks about this with diet. For a month, eat 1 meal a day. The next month, eat 6 meals a day. 1 month, 1 meal. 1 month, 6 meals. And just keep patterning that. You could also do this isn't wild, but Tommy Kona would train for an Olympic lifting meet. When that finished, he would bodybuild. But those are the kinds of variations I like best. It's a good question. I mean, what order should we do exercises in? Oddly, when I say push, pull, hinge, squat, loaded carry, for most people, training 3 days a week, 52 weeks a year, 10, 20, 30 years, That's probably the best order for most of the people I work with and the realities of how they train. I have squatted first in workouts, and I got to tell you, it sets you up for a good workout. But in my experience, push-pull, hinge squat, loaded carry is the best order for most people most of the time. I always feel like right now is caveat time, you know. But if you're just trying to get in shape, you're trying to lock down your diet, you're trying to, you know, move well, you know, feel good, look good, move good. That's the kind of thing you probably want to do. Great question, Tom, and I really appreciate it. Okay, thank you.